What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackbine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talker. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers made a move last night to say, hey, wide receiver, we found one, but there is some caveat here because he's not showing up today, tomorrow, or this week, which is very strange. We're diving into that. Some defensive trades that Mike Tomlin says the Pittsburgh Steelers are open to. Should they go out and sign someone? Should they go out and trade for someone? How do they fix this defense? And it's Tuesday, October 28th, which means it's Overreaction Tuesday. It's a good one here in the Berg. Sun shining. I think it's the universe letting us know. Take a deep breath. We are 24 hours removed. Maybe things will get better. Mike Tomlin addressed the media today and made sure that everybody knew he was not happy about things, that there could be some changes coming, that Terrell Austin is not getting fired as of today, and that there are no depth chart changes, but maybe roster changes upon us. My friend, I'll ask you as I do every day, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Yeah, the letting the sun shine in and hoping that it just brings some new life, a breath of fresh air. It's not happening, but we can hope for it right now. And I think that is just the beauty of what the new Steelers wide receiver edition brings. You just the prayers being answered. I couldn't sleep last night because I was like, what were they gonna do? But they went out and got a Messiah, someone to save them. So wow, I'm so excited. Can you tell?
I could tell that you've been waiting all day to talk so highly of Marquez Valdes-Scandling, which is who the Pittsburgh Steelers brought in to ignite a receiving core that needed some help. And maybe this is not the help that, anybody was anticipating. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is set to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers because there are two conversations to have here. The first one, what does he bring to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is he enough for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense to say, case closed, we're done, no more trades? And two, why is he not showing up until next week? Because according to reports, it's not going to happen this week. It's a next week situation. I don't get it. He left after a workout. Reports said that he was expected to sign. Now it's saying he's flying back in next week to ink that contract and to ink that deal. I think that's where we start before we go into, is he good enough? What? I've never seen that. I've never seen a team at any point in the NFL say, we'll bring you back in a week to sign you, but don't worry, terms are good, everything's okay. If this was free agency during the offseason, yeah, that's a different conversation. Guys are across the country, they're on vacation, you're waiting until they come back. Marquez Valdes-Scandling's hanging out, waiting for an opportunity to play in the NFL again after getting released on an injury settlement with the San Francisco 49ers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to wait a week when they don't really have a week. And that's a week less that he gets to begin training with the team. Makes almost no sense to me whatsoever when you saw that, because we all got the news last night. That's what happened. The news last night was the Pittsburgh Steelers are signing Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Then the news today was maybe. Mike Tomlin totally brushed it off and said, yeah, we brought in Eddie Jackson and Von Bell too, so you never know, which is not a confirmation. And now it's saying it'll happen next week. Confusing. What do you expect from this? Do you think there's a chance this doesn't actually happen?
Wow, no, I hadn't considered that until you asked that question right now. Maybe, right? Like there's no guarantees. I find it very interesting that that this is brushed off by the head coach when asked about it. But I am assuming, I was under the assumption, and I guess still remain under the assumption, that MVS is going to come to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I don't know, maybe they already had their family vacation booked. I don't know. I have
In
no
the
idea. You
middle
know
of
what I
the
mean?
season.
They're like, we're hitting the Poconos. We got the cabin booked. I gotta hit it. I gotta get there. And I think maybe that, what else could there be? It's not like this is, as you mentioned, this is a player who was released with an injury settlement from the 49ers. This is not a player who was courting multiple offers on the first day of free agency. It's not like he's trying to leverage this sort of situation with another one. Like, it's either you sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, or you just, don't play in the NFL for the rest of the year. So it's is really strange to me why there would be any sort of delay in signing, especially when it, seems like they're already there in terms of everything being agreed upon. So I guess the door has to be kept open ever so slightly, just a little teeny tiny bit,
Yeah.
But other than that, I assume he's going to be here, and the Steelers, I guess, just don't care about whatever. I was going to say the family vacation planned. They're going to the Poconos. They got the cabin booked in Deep Creek. You fill in the blanks, Noah. Like, what else could it be? I'm sure you've asked. I don't know. Why would you need a week?
I don't know. And I've asked and I've looked and I've gotten no response to what is happening. What I was told, because Jerry Dulac tweeted out and said, don't expect the Steelers signing to happen this week. So I sent a text and said, is he done? Did that get scratched? And my response was, not this week. What does that mean? What is happening? I don't understand this. I look at it and say, if you did book a family vacation in the middle of a season, but you still had time to show up and work out, I just don't what is happening? How is that a thing? It doesn't make, I've never seen something like this happen. I do think the door is open for him to actually not play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe it's a situation where you have to go through a physical, but you had the physical when you were there. None of it adds up. Again, I've never seen a situation like this in the NFL, and it doesn't make any sense to me. If he does sign, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
My only, because the trade deadline is officially a week away, right? This time, a week from today at 4:10 p.m. we'll be talking about the trade deadline having just passed. What do the Steelers do or not do? Is there a handshake agreement? Like, hey, we want to bring you in, but we're making a move for, Noah's been working the lines for Jalen Waddle for us. We're going to really take that down to the wire and see if we can get that going. And then if that doesn't happen at, on November 4th at 4:05 p.m., we'll make that contract official. That's my only, in terms of how this could work from an organizational, structural sort of way. That's the only reason that I could see this getting delayed a week. Other than that, it just seems like you brought him in for a workout and then we sort of jumped the gun on assuming he would sign, and then something happened. So that's the only other thing I'll throw out there in terms of how this might be working.
Maybe. I'm very confused. I would expect the next week to add clarity. I would expect from Mike Tomlin to give us some real snotty answer when he does sign. What do you thought? Well, there was obviously a plan. Mike, nobody knew the plan except for you, dude. Not one person. Let's talk about if he fits. He's a guy whose greatest season in the NFL comes with a league-leading 20.9 yards per reception. His best season in the NFL is 690 yards and 6 touchdowns with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. He had 300 and some yards with the New Orleans Saints last year with Derek Carr. He's spent time as the wide receiver 2 with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a reliable 31-year-old with some speed. That's what he is, which fits the bill of what the Pittsburgh Steelers were looking for in a very mild degree. That's my thoughts on that. It's a very mild fix for what the Pittsburgh Steelers need and who they are going to bring in to fix this team. Now, if you wait a week, I don't think that the move, I think it dampens the mild. I think it becomes even less in the, this works better. It doesn't. It works significantly worse. I don't think Marquez Valdes-Scandling is a guy that I'm excited is joining the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hope that in the mindset of trying to save a season, this is not the only move that they are willing to make, but it sure feels like it's the only move they're going to make. I don't know. What's your thoughts on MVS joining? Does he fix what they needed fixed?
No. To me, it is as consequential a signing as the Derek Forrest signing was today, right?
Woo-hoo.
Like, and
Yes.
I don't like, and that's not me trying to be like stirring the pot, like insinuate. Like, it does nothing, right? Like, he might have chemistry and a relationship with Aaron Rodgers. That's great. What did he do? Is 4 catches this year, sweet. Last year, 19, incredible. Year before that, 21, so good. Like, what? Like, we're not talking about some receiver who actually comes in here and provides anything other than a like a resume, an
Yes.
established NFL career, and that's all well and good. The depth is great. They need the talent for sure. They don't just need fourth, fifth, sixth wide receivers. I feel like we've talked about this sort of topic so many times where why do the Steelers love to bring in these players to fill out the depth chart at the bottom of these secondary supporting roles when they need, that number two opposite talent besides DK Metcalf, and they just refuse to do it. So I would be shocked if there is a trade in the works, because it feels like getting MVS is like the Steelers move, and like that's their deadline get to bolster the offense, which I just think is insufficient, and I don't find him to be any sort of a needle mover. But that's what.
Yesterday, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's where we're at right now, man.
I'm agreeing with you. Yesterday, we had a conversation, a whole 30-minute conversation about how it's time for the Steelers to change their ways and to completely rebuild, and there were reasons behind it. We just felt that it was time, and they were running their course, and we've been through this so many times. And then before we all went to bed, the Pittsburgh Steelers said, we're going to do the most Pittsburgh Steelers thing on the planet in the midst of us struggling, and that is to sign a guy who is incredibly underwhelming, who is most likely not even going to play significant snaps this season for us. And on top of that, we're going to be so comfortable with the move and with the downfall that is happening that we are going to wait an entire week before actually bringing him onto the roster, if we are going to bring him onto the roster. It just so much feels like a classic Pittsburgh Steelers still are the same team and nothing is ever changing move that we can expect. It is the epitome of Mike Tomlin doesn't make splash plays or splash moves, and it's just getting bad. Cool. You just got a guy to replace Scotty Miller. Shout out. That was awesome.
Bingo.
Great job. Great job, dude. You did a great job. Ben Skoranek no longer has to catch passes this season. Killed it. Absolutely killed it. It makes nothing. You are not any closer to being a Super Bowl contender. If MVS was the guy that came in here, if the Pittsburgh Steelers won the last 2 games, still not getting you any closer to a Super Bowl contender. It does very much so feel like the window has closed, and they are nowhere near good enough with the window being closed. It is wild to me where the Pittsburgh Steelers have gone in this direction and how they are so comfortable just being mediocre in the situation. Now, if this changes and he doesn't show up and they go in a different direction, I would be stunned, but I would smile and for every Steelers fan out there and go, wow, dude, you guys actually did it, huh? You guys actually tried. You gave a good attempt out there. Good for you. But I don't think anything else is coming. I think this is what they got. I don't expect MVS. Do you think this is Mike Williams? Like, do you expect him to play much this season, or do you think he's going to ride the bench and everybody's going to ask for the next 8 weeks, where is Marquez Valdes-Scandling?
Well, I think we'd see a little bit more of him compared to Mike Williams last season, but it's very similar of a comparison, and I agree with you 100%, and I think it falls very much in line with this prediction and sort of through line I've been talking about since since training camp began. Don't expect that big next move at wide receiver. I think this is absolutely it. Defensive side of the ball, different story. I think they are, so desperate for help in the secondary specifically that I can see them making additions beyond just bringing in guys for the workouts that they did today. But on the offensive side of the ball, I feel like it's MVS signs, or we're not talking about another offensive trade before the deadline next Tuesday. And isn't that so damn disappointing?
It's so it's a little bit heartbreaking, and I hope everybody feels the same way, that they're sitting around going, I can't believe that this is how it was 11 days or something like that. In 11 days, it was just all taken away from everybody. Everybody went from like, dude, this team could be a Super Bowl champion, to this is it, huh? This is what we have to deal with for the rest of time until Mike Tomlin decides that he no longer wants to coach football. It's crazy. It's so crazy to me. But we'll transition to the other side of the football, because Mike Tomlin opened the door to this one, and I think we're going to have somewhat of the same conversation, but I'm excited to see if it's different. He says that, yeah, we're open to all trades and acquisitions at the trade deadline. We're got to be open-minded about all moves. Then they brought in Eddie Jackson and Von Bell for workouts. They signed Derek Forrester, that will never play for the Pittsburgh Steelers active roster. Do you, A, believe him when he says any of this? And B, do you expect any of it to transition into something that actually impacts the Pittsburgh Steelers? Or do you look at it going, Von Bell and Eddie Jackson, which, in my opinion, 3 years ago, great additions 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Today, why? What is Eddie Jackson bringing to your team besides a guy who hasn't played since the middle of last season when he was cut by the Baltimore Ravens? What does Von Bell bring to your team besides a guy who was cut at the beginning of last season and has not been on a team since? It just doesn't. Von Bell's also come in for workouts in the past. Like, this is not the first time the Steelers have been like, we should test the waters on Von Bell, see if he's good. And then he didn't sign with the team. It just feels like another we barely tried, but we tried situation. And the Steelers are here replacing Deshaun Elliott with a bunch of veterans. Do you expect that to be the case when this is all said and done, that one of those two ends up in Pittsburgh?
Oh, God, I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I know you don't. I won't throw a movie reference at you this early on today, but I know you've seen some TV shows. I know you've seen I Think You Should Leave, probably, with Tim Robinson.
Yeah, for sure. Watch it every night.
There's the prank show sketch where the guy's just like, I don't even want to be around anymore.
Yeah.
That's like kind of how this makes me feel, because you're like, yeah, man, like, I thought we were just going to do this like sick heel turn episode yesterday, and then the Steelers would like course correct, but no, then they just do the MVS thing, and then they bring in a guy whose best statistical season in the NFL came in 2021 and 2018 in Jackson, and you have Von Bell, whose only notable thing is being able to participate in AFC North rivalries.
Boom.
Boy, wow. Line them up. Make sure that Chuck Clark and Jabril Peppers don't get too excited or too locked onto their spots, because we got to make sure Von Bell doesn't take a starting spot too quickly. I mean, it's just, it's just hard to be anything other than, I think, sarcastic and sort of like just so over it. Like, I hate to be such a pessimistic version of myself. A lot of times I enjoy being the pessimistic version of myself, because I think
this is who I am.
You can ask my wife. I am skeptical of all things, and I think that is just sort of my nature. This doesn't feel like a fun version of that pessimism. This is just like, I feel stuck in a loop and I just want to be done with this.
Yes.
So that's my answer to your question, is that I think it's not going to help at all, because it's more of the same.
No, it's not going to help even a little bit. Like, what are you bringing these guys in to be Jabril Peppers? You already have Jabril Peppers. He doesn't do anything. What are you signing another veteran for, to say, come sit on our bench and sometimes be inactive so that we could play the other veterans who are also not good enough to be on the field anymore? What? Like, here's a name for you.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Would Justin Simmons change your mind at all? Because at least he's a guy who was an all-pro who could play something.
Listen, he's not probably, he is a better football player than the two safeties brought in for workouts today. The only player that I think that the Steelers should be like elevating or anything like that, or going to, that isn't a trade for some sort of star player. And I think that would be a stupid move to even do that. But I think they should just, like, I'm just looking at like Corey Trice and Dante Kent, and I'm just like, here's two guys in the secondary that you can bring in and see what you got. That is the only thing that would bring me a little bit of excitement, or show me that this team is doing anything a little bit different, or maybe willing to try something, a new approach or a new sort of way of doing things. It'd be crazy. It'd be awful to rob Von Bell of another chance to be mediocre, but why not let Dante Kent shine or at least try? Like, I don't get it.
No, dude, it's spot on. That is spot on. Why? What is the solutions here? Because to be honest with you, Brandon Echols should be starting at corner to see what you got in Brandon Echols. He's got experience. He's got starting experience in the NFL. I'd be calling everybody and their mother for a safety trade, because the Steelers are 4-3, and Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan are not sitting around going, season's over, dude, it's done. Me and you are sitting around doing that. The fan base is sitting around doing that. Everybody's going, we've seen this, dude. We've seen the prequel, the postquel, the 11th. This is Fast and the Furious 75, dude. We already know how it's going to end. We've been here, okay? Family. Not firing Tomlin and going 9-8. That's what it is. We've seen this all before. If I'm the Steelers, though, if I'm Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin, I'm at least making calls to somebody. The Patriots are offering Kyle Duggar, apparently, Duggar, whatever his last name is.
Interesting.
Yeah, like, it's not, honestly, it's not even good, but anything's better. Like, that's what it is. That's where they're at. Is I'm calling anybody who has a safety trade on the market and saying, yeah, well, that gets Juan Thornhill and Chuck Clark off the field, so that's probably a good idea. We should probably at least consider that move. That sounds good. But guys who are not going to actually get them off the field, which is the two guys they brought in today, absolutely pointless. Absolutely pointless. I would have rathered you saved Sebastian Castro and stuck him on the roster. You know what I mean? That's what I'd rather you do. And I know he's not around anymore. I get it, but I would have tried something before I would have sat there and said, these guys are the answer. These guys are the answer. Kyle Duggar is the name to watch, according to Adam Schefter. Would you go after him? For nothing.
No. Okay. Yes. Right. I gotta turn it back around here, Jacob. I think if you can have him for peanuts, then yeah, that is a better option than bringing in either the free agent, any of that big old group of veteran free agent safeties that could sign a deal here. I would much rather have him. There's no level of excitement. I can't even fake it, dude. I just can't.
No, I can't either, dude. I cannot either. It makes no sense. 0 sense whatsoever for the Steelers to just go after guys that mean nothing. You know what I mean? Sign the MVS of the defense.
Exactly.
Awesome. I also think it's absolutely wild that they've tried this so many times. Think of the guys who have come through the Pittsburgh Steelers, both defensively at safety and corner over the last couple of years, and at wide receiver. All of the old dudes. If there's an old guy who plays defensive back or wide receiver in the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers have worked with him in the last 3 to 4 years. 0 of them have worked out. 0 of them. And they continue to do the same thing. It is crazy to me that this is happening. Let's end it with a prediction. Do you think the Steelers actually make a defensive, not named Eddie Jackson or Von Bell? Do you think that they make a defensive move before the trade deadline's over?
Does it have to be a trade?
It could be anything. Not those two names.
I think they are going to make a move, not those two names. don't expect it to be a splashy trade at all. I could see it being a signing would be my prediction, just not one of those two guys.
Yeah, I think the Steelers make a defensive trade, and I think I hate this. I hate this for myself. I hate this for you. I hate this for everybody listening. I hate this for all of Steelers Nation. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers make a defensive trade that we all go, who? And it just ruins everybody's day once again, because you get the alert and you go, oh, Steelers made a trade. And then you look at the name and you go, I don't know who that is. I have no idea. And then you look him up and you want to know who he's replacing. Daniel Ikuwale or who Miles Killebrew. You know what I mean? Like, that's who he's replaced. That's what I think happens. And it's a brutal time, guys. It's a brutal time. But Mike T says that, you know, they're open for business. They're not making any trades, or they're not making any changes defensively. No depth chart changes will happen. That's what he said, which is,
you know what else is open for business? Lemonade stands run by children in the summer. And it doesn't mean that they work or that they run efficiently. I just don't, you know.
Or they serve good lemonade, just like the Steelers don't serve good football. Shout out.
Wow.
Shout out. Shout out. All right. With that said, it's Tuesday. And we're going to finish this one off by at least having a little bit of fun here. Let's get into it.
It's a fine line between, you know, drinking wine and squashing grapes, as we say in this business. And sometimes it's very subtle.
Sometimes it's very subtle. You want to know what hasn't been subtle the last 2 weeks? How bad the Pittsburgh Steelers are. That's the least subtle thing in the NFL. I've watched everyone, Rich Eisen included, talk about how it really does feel like the Steelers, they got Mike Tomlin and they have a chance to turn this thing around, but maybe they're not gonna. The belief has sunk so fast. I watched Russell Wilson lose 5 games in a row to end the season last year. And in those 5 games, the faith did not fall nearly as quick as it fell in the last 2 weeks for the Pittsburgh Steelers, losing games where they've scored 25 or more points. It really does, man. This one feels different. It's crazy. It's 2 games. This is Overreaction Tuesday, so it's a good segment to say this, but I'm going to say this. This is going to be it. This is going to be the first time the Pittsburgh Steelers, with Mike Tomlin as their head coach, finish with a losing season.
That is an overreaction, and I'll answer that with something even more maddening and frustrating. I'll counter with a 9-8 finish.
What's worse? What is worse?
That's worse. That's worse. If they 8-9 or anything, any losing record is a better outcome for the Steelers right now than 9-8 or 10-7 and sneaking into the playoffs or being the first team to miss the playoffs. Because then again, they could just run it back. We'll have conversations from January until July about, can they get Aaron Rodgers to come back? And I've been trailing Toyota Camrys to see if he visits again. And, you know, and we're going to be doing all of these things to see if Mike Tomlin can get this Steelers team to run it back.
Yeah,
that's a terrible outcome. They need to, if they're going down this path, and maybe this is just catastrophizing, and maybe this has just been continued overreactions from 2 straight losses, I will concede that. But I think they are just going down this path of just, you gotta lose, you gotta keep losing. And I think if you get 9-8 is the worst possible outcome.
It would be so terrible. Unless you want a playoff game. You want a playoff game? Wild. You want to know the perfect outcome? You want to know the perfect outcome in my eyes? That would just blow this thing into oblivion of just complete mind. Not going to say the word because it's a family-friendly show. The Steelers win the AFC North at 8-9. First losing season under Mike Tomlin. But the rest of the AFC North sucks, so you never know. And then they win a playoff game against, I don't know, like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Somebody terrible. And just killed two birds with one stone. Mike T's coming back, and there it is. The whole clock resets. The whole clock resets. It would be awful. It would be awful.
You know what's really sad is I immediately, as soon as you said the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm like, oh, Steelers, they vanquished some playoff demons by beating the Jaguars. That's 10 more years for Tomlin. Then you could.
That's what that is. That's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. And you know what? It would suck. It would suck a lot. But to kill two birds with one stone. Number 2 for you. The Steelers are sinking ship. And we've been here. We've done this. We've seen how bad things can get. And I will tell you that a side of the football hasn't looked this bad since Matt Canada was in town running the offense. The defensive side of the football looks that bad. Mike T's got pressure. This is the first, it has to be. By the end of this stretch, however long it is, Mike T's going to have pressure. This is going to be the first time ever that Art Rooney, who was pissed last year, is going to start saying things like, why is this not happening anymore? Why did we do all this and they suck? This is the second time that it happens. The Steelers are going to fire Terrell Austin before the season ends.
Man, it's not an overreaction because he is the scapegoat. You know, he is the one who is going to bear the most responsibility and the consequences in the immediate, and then Mike Tomlin further down the line. So yeah, it's not an overreaction. Do I agree with it? Do I think he's deserving of being fired? Maybe.
Yeah,
but
yes and no.
Like, I get it. I'm not gonna like beg and plead for him to remain defensive coordinator. The defense is awful. You can make as many changes as you want that seem to improve it, or at least attempt to. But he's not the heart of the problem. That's for sure.
I agree. I don't think he's the heart of the problem. And I think that if he gets fired, and somebody tossed in the chat, and I like it, and I'll use that. I apologize that I can't give you credit. I'd have to scroll through all this. The Steelers firing Terrell Austin and the defense sucking for the rest of the year would just, you want to do it? Point that little red light that you flash on the wall for cats right on Mike Tomlin's forehead and say, you want to know who the problem is? You. Just you. I got 3 for you. This is my last one. The Steelers said they're open for business for a trade. They're open for it. And I'll say this, desperate teams do desperate things and they work in desperate ways. The Pittsburgh Steelers are desperate. They have to win. They got to win now. This is a team that did everything they possibly can. They got a quarterback. They believed in that quarterback. Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers is different. Aaron Rodgers is different. Aaron Rodgers is different. We heard it so many times. Shout out to Poke Salad. That's who it was. They're going to make a desperate move. The Pittsburgh Steelers, whether they send them out or bring them in, are about to make a blockbuster trade defensively at the trade deadline.
Man, that's not an overreaction. I think there's probably good reason to suspect that it is not as doomsday, doom and gloomy in the Steelers front office as it is on the All Steelers Talk podcast. That being said, I think they might see a scenario or a situation where they're like, we gotta continue to push all of our chips to the center of the table here and continue this all-in effort, and then we are going to make that last all-in effort again to see if we got a win in the playoffs in the chamber. I don't know if I would do that if I was running the show for the Steelers, but I think that is not an overreaction at all, my friend.
What's the trade? You got a trade? Sorry, I was looking at the chat and trying to handle something while we were out there. You got
sorry, no. I think it could be no. I actually don't. I don't even want to.
Do you think it's out or in? Do you think it's out or in? Do you send somebody away or do you bring somebody in?
Oh, I think they're gonna bring somebody in.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be like they go out and get another veteran who was a superstar 4 years ago and is not one now.
What an awful trade, dude. What an awful, awful, awful trade. Awful trade. But that's where we're at. All right, guys, that's everything on our agenda. With that said, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of it, we'll start answering your questions. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind All Steelers Talk comes Black and Gold Apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
Alrighty, shout out to our members. Shout out to our super chatters. Can't thank you guys enough. Before we start getting going on these questions, take a second, hit that like button. Again, we can't thank you enough for what you guys do for us, and those likes help for sure. We're going to start with Duffy Buckets here. Noah, please tell me your sources around the team aren't saying the MVS move means we're no longer calling teams looking for a legit wide receiver too. Is Justin Simmons employed yet or just washed? I don't want to be that guy, man. I don't want to be that guy. I have been told that the Pittsburgh Steelers are calling teams and calling wide receivers and looking for them. But for the last 2 weeks, it has not been the man, dude, Steelers are ready to make something crazy. It's the Steelers are monitoring the market. They are calling teams looking for playmakers, but there is no name that has been mentioned. The whole time I've just taken that as like, okay, that means everybody's a possibility, but nobody's a possibility. And it stinks, but that's like, it's been all that. It's been they're monitoring the they're calling everybody who could be available. That's what they're doing. And you can interpret that how you feel. Many will not feel good about it, but you will interpret that how you feel. Now, go ahead.
No. If you, please.
No. That's my thought. You say you got two something. Two
thoughts. I do. The first thought is I do believe Justin Simmons is like James Harrison's backwashed. So it's just, you gotta put that away. That was just for Noah. So apologies for everyone else who had to listen to that or watch that. But so that's number one. Number two,
unreal.
You know what my sources are just me.
Okay.
Just for the purposes of this statement. But my sources around the team have told me it ain't happening. So, no, Duffy Buckets, you're the man. But
hate to ruin it for you, but that's the truth.
For you.
That's the truth. It does not feel as if that's going to happen. It just doesn't. It sucks, but it just doesn't. And to be honest with you, Roman Wilson having a good game, I think, put an even bigger damper on that. And maybe Roman Wilson turns into a stud, and that's awesome. But I think they went, well, Roman had a good game, so we're good. We're good. And that's just not the case. Chris, guys, our biggest issue is Rooney. This failed Tomlin crusade has brought one Super Bowl in 2 decades, and that was with Cowher's talent. We should be sellers and cultivate these young players and rebuilding the team. I mean, if you ask me, I'm not sellers. You know what I mean? I'm just not buyers. That's what I would be at the deadline, is I would just say we are going to have like 9-10 draft picks next year. I'm not getting rid of them. I'm going to keep them all. I'm going to keep everybody on this roster because this roster's good enough to go 4-3. And maybe there's a pot. Like, I'm not tanking with Aaron Rodgers. That's just not what I'm going to do. But I'm going to accept the fate that I have already given myself. And I am going to see what I could do with this team and then go from there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save I'm not trading. I'm just signing and accepting fate and keeping my draft picks for next year. That's what I'm going to do.
I get that. I respect that. I wouldn't be I'm not. I don't think they need to tear it all down. Liquidate, everything must go type of situation. But and I talked about this on my Puntori's playbook from today. I think you could pinpoint a couple of players and be like, yeah, we can probably accept a trade for them. I don't think it necessarily means you then have to, if there's someone else you would like to go get, or maybe there's someone you could acquire chiefly. I know it's counterproductive, but I could see this team making a trade for somebody and also dealing from the defense as well. Makes no sense. I understand it, but who knows? That's the world we live in. Nothing makes sense these days.
Nothing does make sense these days. Those are the two names, Pat and Alex, that I'd say, look at, if you got a third round pick for both of them, second round pick for both of them, cool. Each, all right, that's a conversation to have. You know what I mean?
Wild. Yeah.
Wild. But if that's what you could do, all right, that's a different, it's not taking away from anything and it's adding to the future. I understand that. Leroy, what does ATP mean? At this point, boom. I'm not, look, guys, I'm really not that smart. At this point, Tomlin is just signing all the players he didn't get to coach in their prime and call me crazy. I'm open to Beanie Bishop coming back to the roster. I'm honestly not open to Beanie. I am open to Dante Kent. Like you said earlier, I'm open to Dante. Try Dante. Dante's a 7th round pick who made the roster over Beanie Bishop. And I think he looked pretty good during training camp. I don't think Beanie Bishop looked good. I just don't. I would like to see Dante Kent, and I would like to see Corey Trice at practice, and I would like to see what they can do. I truthfully think those are good answers that will not solve anything, but I want to see what they can do. I want to see what they're able to do.
I certainly agree. I would much prefer that. Oh gosh, would I prefer that? I mean, look, Beanie Bishop, if all else fails, if every other option does not pan out, sure, like Beanie Bishop can get a second crack. I think that Beanie Bishop train, is long gone.
I agree. I don't think
him being an impact player.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't think that. I think they moved on from Beanie before the season even started, and where they're at right now, they're just again, they're going to test it with Dante, and I want to see. I'd be cool with Dante. Chris, guys, I think Cade Bell might be the coach we need. A little pit coach coming to good old Pittsburgh, making his way next door. I like Cade Bell. I will be very honest with you. If Arthur Smith does not get a head coaching gig, keep him because he's got head coaching experience and he's learned to work well with this offensive line, and go get an offensive-minded head coach. That would be my move. Would you go offensive-minded head coach or defensive-minded head coach?
Ooh, I think there's this this natural sort of like opposite reaction of, if you had the defensivist-minded coach in Mike Tomlin for 20 years.
Yeah.
Do you just go in the complete opposite direction? With this next head coach, you also look at some of the head coaches who are, find some success in their first couple of years. I think of like the McVays or like Ben Johnson seems to be doing all right. Like these are guys who seem to be offensive gurus, quote unquote. So I would be okay with it. I don't know if I'm more interested in it being an offensive minded head coach or just like a game manager head coach. I think I just want a head coach who just knows that he doesn't need to call either side of the ball.
Yeah, I like that too. My thought on the offensive side of the football of being an offensive minded head coach is that you're going to get a rookie quarterback at some point in the next 2 years. Have the guy that you feel confident can mold this quarterback, that knows how to talk to him, that knows how to help him, that knows how to answer his questions. That's where I'd go. And I agree. I think it's like you look at it and say okay, you don't want to overreact. You want to judge it. And I don't think a coach should have more control than just being a head coach. But I think an offensive-minded head coach in my head, even if it's not the guy calling the plays, just gives you that extra oomph to help with that extra help to help with a rookie and an evolving quarterback. That's where I'm at with that one. Bernard, Tomlin threw A-Rod under the bus 3 times now. I am going to acknowledge this too, because it is very true. Mike Tomlin mentioned the problems of the offense so many times today. It was crazy. it was crazy how many times he would say, yeah, I don't think the offense responded well to the third and or to the bad penalty. I don't think the offense did this well. I thought the offense didn't convert on third down well. It's like, Mike, you want to know who didn't convert on third down well? Your defense, pal. The defense didn't convert on third down, pal. The defense they didn't tackle anybody. They didn't do anything right. The defense did 0 things correctly in this game, and you're going to talk about how negatively the offense more than the defense? It blows I don't have I kind of took it as protecting, like he's protecting the defense because he knows that that's the side of the ball that is a little bit more sensitive maybe, and he needs those guys to be better. I couldn't tell you, but I thought that the whole time of every time somebody asked him about the defense, he reverted it to the offense every single time.
I think it speaks to the general lack of accountability that you kind of just see when it comes to the entire team. Like I think Aaron Rodgers is the same way. I think Cam Hayward has been a lot like that this year. Like there have been moments where Hayward, Watt, and Ramsey have been very like, I need to be better first and doing the leadership thing. But so often it feels like there is just a general lack of accountability for when things are going wrong. Like, yeah, of course the offense didn't do great after, sans 1 or 2 drives in the entire game, right? But like that, this defense has not done well in 3 weeks, in 3 contests. So what is the point in deferring away from that rather than being like, it's just not good. We got to be better. Don't have all the answers, but that's why we do this. It's why you pay me $15 million to figure out, how to make defense do good defense. Like, I just don't understand like how you can oh man, it's killer. You can tell I'm extra frustrated today.
Look, it's warranted. It's an extra frustrated week. Okay. And we spend an hour every day of that week talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And right now there's nothing to talk about except for how bad the Pittsburgh Steelers are. And now their head coach spent 35 minutes today addressing, making nobody feel better about it. Not a single person feel better about anything whatsoever. It was crazy. Chris, until Rooney gives up on Tomlin, nothing changes. This is a very true statement. It is. I think Mike Tomlin is a guy who should end up in the Hall of Fame one day. I think he's great. I would not be surprised if he left and continued a fantastic career with another team in Pittsburgh. As of today, October 28th, 2025, and things could change on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and all those other days. I'm very open to change. Today, my answer to this is you are correct, Chris. You are correct.
Yep. I think I think the Steelers can reach some degree of success under Mike Tomlin still. I'm not saying they're never going to be able to win a game. They'll never win a playoff game ever again if Mike Tomlin's the head coach. It feels like the chances of that are slim to none and becoming, thinner and thinner by the season. Fine. Yes. I grant you all of that. But I think they are going to continue to do this same sort of cycle forever until, they have a full from the top of the organization down commitment to sort of rebuilding things, not just trying to piece things together a little bit, one piece at a time. I think they have to totally commit from the top down. And until that happens, 9-8, baby.
9-8. Nicholas, Cam sucks. That's all I got to say for right now. Also, how do I call into the call-in show? Sorry, new sub here. Been watching for 2 years, though. My guy, appreciate you. Cam has not been playing well, but you know what? Cam's not going to make $3 million extra if the Steelers don't make the playoffs. So, karma's a real thing. To call into the call-in show, there is if you go to the memberships tab on the homepage of the YouTube, if you go to youtube.com/allsteelerstalk, click on the memberships tab. You will get it's a description box, and in that description box, maybe it says read more or something, but it gives you the phone number to call and leave a voicemail for the call-in show for tomorrow. So make sure you're doing that. Everybody else, make sure you're doing that. Yeah. And Cam Hayward, dude, I'm not anti-Cam. He should still be in the starting lineup. I still think he's very good. I don't think he or anybody else on the defense is playing particularly well right now. I just don't.
No, they're all playing like the La Poopy.
John, Highsmith, Wilson, and a third and fourth for Max Crosby and Jacoby Myers. Oh, I would do this trade.
Yeah. I mean, what do you lose?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not the third or fourth round pick. That's what you lose.
Oh,
That's what you lose. Dude,
That's
could
terrible.
you imagine Max Crosby? Max Crosby would be such a great addition for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It would be so awesome.
he would be. I bet we'd find a way to ruin it.
Jacob is struggling today. He's just like, I can't. It's over. It's all over.
What is this organization? They don't win. You know.
Look,
I
you're
feel
not
like
wrong.
a Cleveland Browns fan today. You know what I
It's-
mean? Like, and it's not even a little bit that bad, but that's just like that's how spoiled we've been as people around the Steelers.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, and that's what it does feel. But the positive here, guys, they have to live that every day, and knowing tomorrow's going to be the same, and the day after that's going to be the same. At least in Pittsburgh, the Steelers could beat the Colts on Sunday, and we're all just like, "We're back, baby! Here it is!" Woo! You know, we get those moments.
Line.
You know, Myles Garrett has TJ Watt has 5 sacks in a game. The Steelers win that game. Myles Garrett has 5 sacks in a game. The Browns lose by 20. It's just, you know, it's just a different life we live. It's a different life we live. Remington, we should bring in Dan Lanning from Oregon. You want to talk about a game change? That would be, there it is. I'm going to put this out there today. He might not be number one on my list, but the guy that would intrigue me the most if he'd be open to the conversation is Dan Lanning. You like go, which I don't even know if that's exactly his last name, but I'm going to get Oregon's head coach because that dude is a stud. Do I think he's leaving? Probably not. He's probably making way more money in college than he's going to in the NFL, but it would be an interesting one. It would be an interesting one for sure.
I have a really hard time with the idea of a college head football coach being the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just have a really hard time imagining any of the veteran players having much respect for one. Like, it just is such a, like, I don't know. Cam Hayward is just like such a man. Like, I don't think, you know, I don't know what's his name. Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning.
Lanning. It's Lanning. I think. I'm guessing.
Like, I'm sure, like, he's like, you watch him on interviews or like during the game and stuff like that, like, you can tell he has the charisma, the personality, the sort of he's very technically sound, lots to love. Not knocking Dan Lanning as a coach or anything like that. I just don't think a college football coach comes into the Steelers locker room and commands the sort of respect you'd need for a quote unquote rebuild. You know, that you can miss me with a lot of the college head football coach stuff. Just stay there.
That's look, you're not, I mean, look at I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not a guy that sits around and says this is the exact coach most coaches miss, but I think I'd be very interested in that conversation. I think I would. Again, I fully acknowledging that chances are they miss, but I think it'd be fun. I think my other mindset though is that like some people are so locked into like the quarterback coach for like the Phoenix Hurricanes is phenomenal. And I'm like,
watching UFL football, bro.
Yeah, and I'm like, I have no idea who that guy is. So thanks. I'm just not locked into that. I spend every Sunday watching the same team play every time, and it hurts your soul a little bit, but you do it. Bernard, how do y'all grade A-Rod so far? Oh, good question. Straight B.
Great.
B plus. I think a sound B plus. So I'm giving B A-Rod. Feels like he's played well. He's made some mistakes, but overall, I think the offense has clicked very well under him. I think he works very well to keep them alive. And I think that what the attention he brings has opened up the running game tremendously. So I would think, B plus. Hasn't been perfect, but it's been good.
I think that's a very great assessment of him. Yeah, I think I would go just a B. One at the plus, one at a minus. Just It's been, but I think that is an excellent, we're not quite at the halfway point, but in between the quarter and halfway point report on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
What more can you ask from your 41-year-old quarterback? Like, he is on pace to throw somewhere between 35 and 40 touchdowns. It's going to be less than 40, but he's on pace to throw somewhere.
That's what it is, dude. It's the 40 touchdowns. Bro, if they're losing games, you better get those trimmers out, brother. You better get it. I want full stash. I don't want this nonsense stat. I want full stash, bro. Full stash.
I'll do like a twirly one even.
Yeah, that's fine. It's got to go to the end of the lip. I want end of the lip. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No stubble.
Like I'm robbing a bank in the Wild West.
That's what it is.
I don't remember what I was saying after the mustache stuff.
Sorry. But A-Rod, he's looking good.
He's looking good. No, I think he's been great. Far from the biggest issues plaguing the Pittsburgh Steelers this year.
I agree. Leroy, it's a rainy day in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm still feeling the effects of this loss. Took my flags off my truck and almost returned the jersey I bought to match on Sunday. I'm losing faith a little bit. Nah, brother, it ain't over yet. Look at. Everybody take a deep breath. You know what I mean? In, out, feel good. Let it all go. It's 2 games. They're terrible. Even if the season's tough, here's a couple of good reminders. You know what I mean? In the book of staying positive through a Pittsburgh Steelers season, these are directly from it. You're not a Cleveland Browns fan. That's always a win. Your team's won Super Bowls. There's been many who haven't. And while it is tough and sometimes it does stink and sometimes he doesn't play very well, at least your favorite player isn't Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? These are all victories, big ones. And we could take those and we could run with them. Shout out.
That's incredible work. And I think truly, that's a man who just, can just regulate. I appreciate that. I think we all do.
That's what I'm here for. It's Juju. What's more likely? TJ ends the year with more sacks than Myles Garrett, or or the Steelers get to the AFC Championship. Oh my gosh. TJ, Myles Garrett doesn't get a sack for the rest of the season for some reason. You know what I mean? It gets hasn't thrown a helmet in 5 years syndrome or something and can't play anymore. I don't know, but it's TJ. It's more likely right now is TJ in my head.
Man, I think it is just so unlikely that TJ Watt gets more sacks than Myles Garrett this year. Not that I think there is any shred right today. I don't feel any shred of confidence in the Steelers' ability to get to the AFC Championship. I think there is just zero chance that TJ Watt outpaces Myles Garrett by the end of this year in terms of sacks. So I got to go AFC Championship, but that's not the endorsement that it might sound. That is just because I think one is impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so tough, dude. It's so tough. Leroy, once again, I'm from Atlanta. At least, see, this is what I'm saying. It's about finding the positives, and my friend Leroy's got them. Okay? At least you're not a Falcons. That would suck so bad to be a Falcons fan. What are you doing? Joining the 11 other Falcons fans on the planet and going and hanging out? No, that sucks. Reminiscent. Dude, remember when Mike Vick was awesome before he went to jail? That was great. We had a great time. Remember that 0 teams that won the Super Bowl? That was so much fun. We had a blast, Cool. Awesome. That would suck so bad. So shout out. I'm glad you're doing okay. I'm glad you're doing okay.
Love it.
Lindsay, literally the most Steelers thing ever in terms of MVS. Will Tomlin let MVS on the moving train, or is this Mike Williams of 2025?
Aaron Rodgers will probably want MVS on the field in some capacity after he comes back from his family hiking trip in Europe. And I think that he's got plans. It's like, hey, I can't start the job immediately. I'm going out of the country. So you got to just let me do it. And I think that is going to be just fine. But I think he'll play. I think he will have to. And I think his rapport with Aaron Rodgers will sort of dictate that more so than Mike Williams coming in, never having played with Russell Wilson before, never having worked with Arthur Smith Actually, no, I might not be correct, but definitely had never worked with Mike Tomlin before. So there was a lot more that you could get behind in terms of he has to like learn a lot about the system compared to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who just really has to just get to know about 10 routes, 10 different plays, and then he'll be good to go.
Yeah. I hope so. I truly hope so. Almost all-star overreaction. Mike Tomlin realizes he is burnt out and the possible defensive problem. He goes and pulls a Dick LeBeau out of retirement. Okay. Here's Dick LeBeau's like 85. So that's not going to happen. As much as it would be awesome, he's not. And don't get me wrong, I talked to Dick last year. We had a lengthy conversation. He was at the Hall of Honor election or induction, and it was so cool. I've never gotten to talk to Dick LeBeau before that moment, and that man is still sharp as a tack. But he is not coming back to coach in the NFL. That is not happening. So overreaction would have had me with something different maybe, but I'd say an overreaction.
As to the first half there, I'm not gonna lie. Dick LeBeau's 412 years old. Like I don't think he has any desire to coach anymore. I assume he has grandkids and great grandkids, and their kids have great grandkids, and I think he probably just wants to live out his days with his family for the next century. So yeah, I mean he's the greatest defensive coordinator ever. Lest we forget, but I don't think there's any chance he ever coaches a game or practice in the NFL ever again.
No, I agree. Pittsburgh Hornets. Can we consider a Dubas style reload? And is Tomlin the best person for that, or are they not comparable? You, my friend, are the hockey guy. I'm going to give you the floor.
That's what I've been called a lot. I think we might have different definitions of what Dubas is attempting to do with this quote reload. I think he has Trojan horsed a rebuild into the term reload or retooling, and I think that's kind of what the Steelers would have to do as well, where you have to be like, we're not rebuilding, we're just like kind of doing stuff. We have to get younger, we have to get rid of our most expensive aging contracts, we have to find new leadership. You describe every single way that is a rebuild without using that word to scare the Steelers fans, and then as long as you don't do that, then or you don't scare, the organization's tradition of winning by using the word rebuild, I think you can absolutely do it all. And I think that's why you can explore a trade market for Alex Highsmith, because that's a quote unquote, I would call that a rebuilding move, because you're getting rid of someone who's still good, still possesses a ton of value, but is not going to help you in this next year or the season after. So you have to find a way to get values for that moving forward. That's what you do in a rebuild. I don't see any other way around it. Call it a reload, call it a retooling. You have to build back up from the Steelers got to do it. So yes, there's some comparisons here. There's some comparables.
I love that. I do love that. Nate needs more salad. Jacob, please tell me the odds of beating the Colts are higher than 4 out of 10.
Can I be crazy? I think they are absolutely higher than that because of the way that the pendulum has just swung all the way to the other side, right? The Steelers are down and out. They should be counted out. The season's done. I've said it like 40 times today. You know what will be the most Steelers thing ever? Go beat the best team in the NFL. So I think there's probably at least 50-50 chance. I make myself laugh.
At least 5 out of 10 odds there, at least bare minimum.
They're either going to win or lose the game. My sources have told me. Wow. And
stud.
Joke's on you when they tie, But
which has already happened this year. You're not wrong though. You're not wrong. It does. And what would not to talk about Mike Tomlin again, but you already know he'd walk up to the podium and have some sly comment about how they did this, and it'd be like, just a good, we won. It felt good. Would be great. ND Joe, overreaction. Jacob's take on Freiermuth on Paturi's playbook. No trade on Pat. He's producing and making money for them. He is definitely making the money. That's that part is he is the face of like the media side of things for sure on that one.
Yeah. I mean, oh, sorry.
No,
No,
go ahead.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. But I don't disagree with the value that I think he brings at this point kind of exceeds the value that he brings off of the field and like to the Steelers as a brand organization, locker room presence, I think exceeds sort of what he's doing on the field, not by his own design or by his own merit or skill set. I think it is just the team's usage of him reducing outside of his control. That being said, the Steelers still love, they want him in every sort of media opportunity. They want him to be around every sort of, PR stunt or situation, whatever you want to call it. I would imagine the Steelers have very little desire to move on from Pat Freiermuth. He's very well liked and respected within that organization. That being said, I think that you got to make some tough calls. If you're not going to win, why do you have a $12 million tight end? I think is the question that I really can't find a justifiable answer to.
I very much so agree. And I like Pat, and I think Pat's very good. I think the Steelers got rid of him essentially before the season started, and now it's time to actually put that into motion. Nate needs more salve, more time. Overreaction. Jacob Pinturi could run over Darius Slay because Darius Slay is the softest MFer on the Steelers. I had to give this one out here, Nate, because it's been 48 hours and Nate put the same comment in here, and they make me laugh every time. Slay, love you, dude. You are hilarious and a very nice guy. Nate, love you a little bit more and also hilarious. My guy. Here's one. Trade a second for Brian Thomas, who the Jaguars are reportedly taking calls on because they're wild.
Why?
You tell me. I don't know.
He has not been great. I mean, it's the same thing. I guess you could say the same thing. We're talking about Pat Freiermuth. You're looking at the toolkit. You're like, all right, he's 20s. He's still in his physical
22.
prime. Yeah,
he's second year in the league.
Wonder what it is. Wonder what
the Jaguars are just crazy. That's what it is. The Jaguars are. He had 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns last season as a rookie. Like, what are we? What? How did you get here?
Jacksonville's leading receiver this year.
I'm almost positive it's him. I could be wrong, but I think it's him.
I'll find it.
It doesn't make any sense. I would do this without question.
I mean, yeah, that's a huge get for a second round pick. That's fantastic. Yes. It's like without question fantastic. Is it there? Do we got it? No, I'm still checking. Sorry. All
right. Let us know. This would be a yes.
Yeah, it's a yes without even knowing the stats, which is probably not the best answer, but that's what it is.
It's a yes. He's got like 300 and some yards.
Yeah, he is their leading receiver.
So he's still playing well. That's what I'm getting out of this. Still playing well, and he's 22, 23 years old, and he's in the second year of a deal that could last 5 years, which means that you essentially could get him for 3.5 more seasons, and he's ridiculous. Yeah, nope, sounds good to me. That sounds like a yes. The Jaguars are nuts for actually taking calls on him. Absolutely nuts.
Just really need Travis Hunter to get all the reps he can get.
Shout out. Just picked him up on my fantasy football team. So you know what? I'm game for that. I'm game for that one. Get Brian Thomas out of there. They know what they're doing. Leroy, trade Cam Hayward to the Eagles for Jordan Davis. We get a player of the future, and Cam might get a Super Bowl shot before retirement. What's
Do the Eagles not like him anymore?
I don't think Jordan Davis plays a bunch. That's why they brought Brandon Graham out of retirement, maybe. I think Jordan Davis gets like minimal snaps. Not 0 snaps, but I don't think he plays a whole game.
Is it because he spit on that dude? Is he the guy who spit on
that? Was Jalen Carter. That was Jalen Carter.
Oh my gosh. I'm just sitting here putting these bad words on people's names.
Yeah, like it's not the most. You want to know what I'd do? I'd send, and I wouldn't do this. I think Cam deserves to retire a Pittsburgh Steeler. But if this was Madden, none of this mattered, and there were no emotions attached to it, and no levels of respect attached to it, I would send Cam and a second round pick or maybe a third round pick, but most likely a second round pick to the New York Giants for Dexter Lawrence. That's what I would do.
Just go straight upgrade.
An upgrade that's 26. Yes. Yeah. If he's on Cam Hayward's clock, you get 10 years with them. You could do a lot in that time. You could do a lot of work in 10 years,
That's very true.
Yeah, that's what I would do there. Dalton, hey Noah, I've been in Pittsburgh 6 times, and next month will be my 7th. I've been to a lot of attractions and restaurants. Have you been to Churchworks Brewery? I've heard good things. Yes, I have actually. I'm a big fan of Churchworks. I was there I was at Penn Brewery the other day. Churchworks is cool. It's definitely a good one. I'd go there if you're looking for that type of style. Hofbräu House is awesome. That place is so much fun. And Penn Brewery, it kind of gives you the same vibes. I'm a big fan of all 3 of them. I think they're cool. Church breweries, it's in a church, so you get to tell people I drank beer in a church, which is,
Jesus.
That's how God intended it. That's what they say. Yeah. Hope you have fun, my friend. Those would be the 3 breweries that I'd like in that style that I would recommend.
I love it. I don't drink, so I got nothing for you, bud.
No, nothing. But it's all right. I got it. Can Matt Patricia be defense coordinator for us? How long is he going to be in Ohio for? Would you call Matt Patricia, excuse me, and say you want to be the defensive coordinator of the Steelers next year? I mean, he was good for a long time at that one point.
I mean, fine. Doesn't really get me much more excited than Terrell Austin, to be quite honest. Like, there's just not. Is that me just being too pessimistic still?
That's a shot at Patricia, dude. And I love TA, man. He's a great guy. But Matt Patricia is a historic defensive coordinator. Let's not do that to the guy.
I'm being a sourpuss.
The man's won like six Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it was all because of him.
He did something, okay? I don't know what he did. He did. And Ohio State's defense looks crazy right now. So I wouldn't say, I'm not saying I'd hire him, but I don't think I'd sit here and be like, him and TA, dude, same guy. You're getting the same results. Yikes. Don't tell a Patriots fan. But good thing none of those guys listen to this show. No chance.
That's you wish, bud. They all listen.
Yeah. Eddie Merlot's after a W. Eddie Merlot's peanut salad, brother. Out here balling out. There you go. That's a W right there, my friend. That is a W right there. And let's finish it off here on William, excuse me. What about CJ Gardner-Johnson? Yeah, I have the same reaction. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Great pickup. You know?
I just want to apologize. This has nothing to do with the comments we're getting today. This has nothing to do with the suggestions. These are all exactly the suggestions Noah and I would bring up too. I'm just like,
today's not the day, dude. Today, Jacob is.
What about CJ Gardner-Johnson? Pass. That's what it's about him.
I wouldn't go CJ Gardner-Johnson either. I don't think he adds what you're looking for at all. Like, there's a reason he's not sticking with teams right now. The Steelers also don't need a guy who's going to cause a little bit of issues dramatically, when things are going the way that they are. They already have DK poking guys in the eyes. You don't need more than that. So I would say no to that one. All right. With that said, guys, we're heading out of here. Thank you so much for jumping on to what was an excellent episode of All Steelers Talk for everybody who was paying attention. Oh, wait, we got one more coming in here, Diamond. Oh, 2 more coming in here.
Oh, my Lord.
Diamond, fire Austin, bench slay, trade Highsmith, send Chuck to the practice squad, use Herbig, use Trice, bring up Beanie, and use Peppers. Get good guards, move Spencer back to tight end for the jumbo package. I'd go, the only change that I would do here, I have 2 of them, is I wouldn't call it Beanie. I'd activate Dante Kent, and I would make Spencer Anderson my starting guard and try Isaac Seumalo as my jumbo tight end, because I think that would be terrifying and pretty fun.
Ooh. I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with Dylan Cook coming up from the practice squad to be the other tight end. Like, I don't care.
How many guys you jumping before you give Calvin Anderson that opportunity?
Oh, no, that's all. I think that all is like assuming Calvin Anderson is the starting left guard.
No. Not Spencer Anderson.
Or Spencer Anderson.
Calvin Anderson, who's on the active roster.
Calvin Anderson's never getting into that position.
How many guys are you calling up from the practice squad before you go, all right, put him out there? Put him out there.
All of them. Andrews Pete he's activated. He's out there. And then you got Dylan Cook, and then you probably go sign someone from Duquesne right after they graduate. You give him a shot, and then you give Calvin Anderson a shot. If I don't even know who you are, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah. If you just forget that, you do forget he's there. Steelers Nation, get Minka, which you can't, unfortunately. Need to wait. Trade Highsmith for a third for Sauce Gardner, which would be a great move. Then get Jacoby Myers and Dexter Lawrence. That'll fix it. Let's be very honest here. It would fix a lot of things. It would fix a lot of things if all of these things happened. You get Sauce Gardner, Jacoby Myers, Dexter Lawrence, and Minka Fitzpatrick. You're looking like a pretty good football team.
I mean, yeah.
Be
Said
awesome.
that about this team in July.
All right. Fair point. Fair point. Fair point. Fair point. Look at it would. None of this could happen, unfortunately. It could all happen except for Minka, but none of it will happen, unfortunately. Maybe Jacoby Myers. But I hear you. I hear you, brother. I hear you. All right. With that said, we're heading out of here. Thank you guys so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. As always, find all our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. Before you head out of here, hit that like button. Please, can't thank you guys enough for that one. And make sure to subscribe as well if you didn't hear me, 6 seconds ago when I said it the first time. With that said, appreciate you guys. Unlike Jacob, he's going to enjoy it. I'm going to make sure Jacob enjoys the rest of the day. We're going to make sure that happens. The rest of you, do the same. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace.